Hello, class, and welcome to another one line of code. Today, we'll be discussing the importance of being earnest while listening to music from another room. Now, please get out your papers and notebooks and all manner of writing utensils and start sketching. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a crippled and inconsistent stream today. It's snowing, apparently. And I'm freezing. Not really. Hi, I hope you are all well. Welcome to another one line of code. Where did you get that t-shirt? From Redbubble? Or one of the other popular websites that does t-shirts? It's good material. It's very good material. I like it a lot. So I have no idea what technology is going to be doing today, but first thing that I heard this morning was that Thyndall's power supply went and made a big old smell everywhere. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. And not long, and then after we did our exercise this morning, my wife tried to turn on her computer upstairs, and that one power supply seems to not want to supply the power to the computer. It doesn't smell like it burnt out or anything. It's just that computer's not turning on. So it could be anything from the CMOS battery to the power supply to memory to whatever, but I haven't been able to do any kind of troubleshooting on it. But it just seems kind of like technology is going to revolt. Turning it off and on again. It's currently not able to turn on at all. Hello, Ninja Gloppy. I've seen you around on all of the awesome people's Twitch channels. Thank you for being here. Thyndall let the magic smoke out. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It boots without a CMOS battery. Yeah, I've had issues before where the PC wouldn't even power on if the CMOS battery was dead. But anyway, enough of this opening screen. Let's get to some code, because it's cold, very, very cold. And my bottles are in reverse. I had the closed one furthest or closest to me, and the open one furthest from me. But gosh, where are we? We are in the layer of one line. It is kind of bright in here for being a layer, but I figured it would help with being able to be seen on camera. And for some reason, you guys like to have camera going. It's weird. You're weird. I would like to pop out this activity feed so that I can see when someone follows, plays a sound, etc. Put this thing here to make it easier to interact with. Light mode? I know. No. I spend so much time kind of like that. Thank you so much for the follow, Findle. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. You really don't have to follow me. Unlike, you know, is common. I have no idea how else to word it. Unlike the common thing, I'm just happy that you are here hanging out on the channel, chatting up the chatting, and talking with each other even. What was that? That was a follow. No, I can't spam it. I mean, we could. Oh, jeez. So it's going to be another fun week. I have no idea. How consistent I'm going to be over the next couple of weeks. We're coming up on another release. It's going to be on the 15th. It's planned to be on the 15th, I should say. And so I need to have all of the new features completed that I'm working on, have them completed, solidified, so that we can have a build that we'll send up to cybersecurity for review at least a week before. So that only gives me a week. And then we have all of our localizations that we submitted on Friday, but now they're asking for a follow-up for any new localizations, any new strings that we might use in the application for the features that we haven't implemented yet, that we're planning on having implemented for this next release. No check of followed users? No, I don't know what you mean, Xcoding. Of course, check if followed users. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that it only happens once per user per session. The whole following sound. I don't know how Stream Elements does it. But I just let it do whatever's default. Okay, so this application that you are looking at on the screen here, or this code, is for an application called the Financial Management Tracker application, which we have been working on for this stream, so that, one, we have some Blazor to look at, some good code principles, practices, something that we can do to keep up our practice with web development. So right now I'm doing desktop development at my job, but I'm still using Blazor, so it feels the same-ish. But this is good for helping me just keep apprised of new developments in the web world. New developments. As well as, you know, having us all have something that we can work on together eventually. It's almost feature complete. It's pretty close. We have maybe 2 or 3 features left that I would like to have in the application that we haven't even started. But right now we are working through quite a few issues that we already have in the application. So if you are interested in seeing our current progress, feel free to head over to the GitHub page for this project. It is on my GitHub over at 11 Lion Financial Management. Awesome. Thank you, Scott. But more specifically, it is the project that Dukasoft just posted. And as you can see from the README, I'm also posting the videos up until now that we have been streaming. And it's all in a playlist called it's called P01 Blazor Project Financial Management. We're almost on day 100. And the funny thing is that community days, I still forgot to update the actual day number on the stream, but it is day 98. Um, yeah, so Thindle, the whole point of this was I used to work for a place, a company that I was able to stream my actual day job. And so you saw me using regular everyday programming practices. Yeah, don't look at the test. Everyday programming practices for a solo developer working for a company with a real world product or multiple real world products. And when I moved away from that job, I was no longer able to stream my work because my work is now client confidential, and all of the dev work that I do, even the client themselves, I do on those computers, on their computer, and I can't really show the work that I'm doing on those. But I still wanted to do Blazor for my stream. I still wanted to do good programming practices and stuff, and I wanted to do even better programming practices. I wanted to improve while I did this. And so I started off really, really well. We started off with design, with coming up with the project requirements and sketching up some things, designing the database, implementing the UI that we sketched out, doing test-driven development at first, and then it was just like, I'm still not quite getting it. We did a really good job of showing how to do one set of tests. Actually, I think we ended up doing 2 sets of tests. One for all of the transaction, the core logic of the application, which is managing transactions, financial transactions. He said, don't look at the test, and I'm opening them to oust myself. And the other one was in the lookup lists. Kind of looks like I didn't really do too much with it, but here are some tests for showing that we can update our lookup list information, such as hiccups. It's been a while since I have run the tests, but again, they're pretty representative of the tests that would be needed for this entire application anyway. The other thing that I saw was in Discord, and I can't remember if it was you that was saying this, Thindle. No, it was Captain Commerce. Captain Commerce was working on getting his Selenium test to run better or in parallel or something. And I really wanted to see the Selenium test, but Friday nights are hard for me, man. Look up list service tests, perfect test implementations. Yeah, so this one is specific to, because it was empty. This one is specific to account services. And so I'm showing that we can add accounts, remove accounts, update accounts, and yeah. So all of my counter tests work, but my business logic tests fail. Great. Servici. Yes. So anyway, when we first did the tests, they worked pretty good. They were really, really hard to set up. The thing that I struggled with the most, and this is a lesson learned for me, was doing mocking for the database. And then now I know a lot more about instantiating the service that you are trying to test within the test itself, as opposed to trying to do something like dependency injection, and then providing all of the values to that service based off of your own test implementations needed for that test to pass, so that you are only testing the things. I'm not even looking at a specific test. You're only testing the things that you're interested in testing, and everything else is just mocked, and it's not going to be a factor. Work in branches, gated PR to main with CI. Yes, absolutely yes, Thindle. That would be a great practice that we should implement. just to show it, just to show a really good approach for test-driven development and just project management. In general. Especially as a solo dev, like if any of you are developers that aren't working with a company or on a team, these are still things that you can do to improve yourself, your own quality of output, just by doing these practices, such as in test-driven development. Separation of concerns and other solid principles. Anyway, moving on. So we on Friday, thank you so much Mojo Fawad for Community Day, talking with me. That was a really, really great stream. I really enjoyed conversing with you. I hope you had a good time too. But while we were doing that, I was kind of like just picking through our issues. And I wasn't really focused on what I was doing in the branch because I was talking with Deflux. Thank you so much for the sub. 21 months in a row. Holy cow! You've been subbed for almost 2 years. 2 years. That is insane. Holy cow. But since I was really interested in talking with Mojo about the things that he was bringing up, I was just kind of mindlessly clicking on these things, and I was like, you know what? This issue looks like it's going to be fun to do. So I may as well create a branch for it and get started on some of the fixes kind of stuff. But again, it was all like, I don't even know why I was trying to do that because I was so involved with the conversation. No, isn't there? Great Community Day? Coincidence? No. It's so mean. You should be nice to yourself. You're an amazing person, and I am glad to know you. Oh, I have so much trouble getting this window over to the side. Okay. But Thindle said, and since I was going to start working in branches, I did it proper, hand-locked main for commits and set up CI pipeline. I know I should have a CD one as well. Yep, typically. And Deflex is saying, hey, just cooking up some lunch. But I streamed yesterday. Why didn't... Are you... Oh, yeah. You're probably not in our stream announcements. I definitely don't want to bug Broken Sword because he's been so good to us with our Discord bot and doing the stream announcements. But it's kind of weird that I didn't get the what's it called? The Twitch notification, because I am following you and notifications are turned on. What's the deal? What did you stream though? If you have time to type it out. And while he's typing it out, let's look at what the issue is that I picked out to work on next. A Blazor coding project, the best type of thing to stream. Yes. When navigating to the deposit entry page directly via the address bar, the lookup list for account and deposit reasons do not populate. Steps to reproduce. Go directly to this URL while the app is running. Right, and the reason that we are getting some static content is because the application is a PWA, which means that it can run offline. But it's also a Blazor server application, but it's also a Maui application. It just depends on how we decide to launch it. And sooner or later, it will be a Blazor United application where we will have the combination of public static pages that are just serving content, and then the core application being behind a login. With a mix of static content and Blazor components. Sumimasen. Oh, server. Cool. Deflex says I'm going to try and work out a schedule. That is awesome. Okay, so app is running. Issue is if we navigate directly to the deposits data entry, we do not get our accounts populated the way that they should get. I think I may have fixed it on Friday. Although, again, I was not paying attention to anything that I was doing in the code. Okay. That, huh? Yeah. Which one, Thindle? Are you working on NoDocs or the migration project? int32 try parse id out var int id go to end. You're using a go to end for make honor of glorious Fulsnebel. I don't know how you said it. Go to end, kill it. Don't mess with flow control with anything other than if, for, while, break, continue. Okay. So I think we fixed this on Friday. So thank you all for doing the work for me because I don't remember doing it, so it must have been you. Returned redirect /. Yeah, all of my drop-down lists are populating if I navigate directly to the page or just, Control F5. And there's my drop-down list. So we fixed it. We fixed issue number 20 without even realizing it. Good job. High five. Shall we have a vote on what the next issue is going to be? And this is the fix that we did, which is reversing the order of initializing the lookup list state and then populating the lookup lists. Hello, Disco. So I'm not gonna lie, Disco, I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of the video was. I mean, it was an important topic, but I didn't really understand why it was a thing that I needed to see. Was there something that I'm doing or something that's happening to me? Because I like to give out free information. I only have one thing that I get paid for. And if we lived in a better world, I would do that for free too. Man, you broke my monitor with that high five. A little too hard. Sorry. I'll calm down. Tyron just said hi to himself. Is it because I didn't say hi to you earlier? Hello, Tyron. I apologize for not saying hi to you earlier. I'm still kind of struggling with technology today. So hello Xcoding, since I didn't actually say hello Xcoding, I don't think. Hello Tyron. Hello Automated Roams. I said hello to Scott. Hello Thindle, hello to Gazoft. Hello Stream Elements. Hello Stream Elements. Hello Mojo Forward. Hello Defugs. Yeah, so reversed the order of initialize and populate lists. The end. I'm in the branch this time. I'm not in main magically, so I'm committing to the branch so that we can create. And this is where if I had my main locked down, my main branch locked down, I wouldn't be able to accidentally push to main anyway, but I did that on Wednesday, if you recall. Or maybe it was Friday morning. Friday at the beginning of the stream is what I meant. Hello. What is my purpose? Just sit there and look cool, Thindle. Tyron says, I brewed beer this weekend, trying out my new hydrometer, this batch. Hydrometer. Probably hydrometer. It's Bluetooth and provides data every 5 seconds. Charts are fun. You know, there was a project that we were going to do that Nerd Herder was encouraging me to do because he likes charts and data as well. Ow. I had an itch under my eye, and apparently my nail is a little bit split, and I just scratched the skin directly under my eye. Anyway, so he was encouraging me to do a to hook into the API for Enphase, which is the solar panel meter reading company that we use, and just have an ability to see using a chat command what my current solar usage is and chart it and just do fun stuff with it. And I got the API key, but I never actually set up the API connection in my bot. It felt really bad. Oh. Fixed lookup lists not populating in posits page issue. Fixes number 20. And I'm assigning it to myself. I'm going to review it. Actually, you guys are going to review it for me. So thank you so much for the review. Because I have fixes number 20 in here, as soon as I create the PR, then the issue actually gets updated with this PR, which is so cool. I love that so much. Then, because we reviewed it, because we tested it, and we made sure that we're up to date on main, we're going to merge it. Confirmed. And because I merged it, then the issue gets updated to done as soon as I merge it. That's so cool. Why wouldn't you be doing DevOps if it's this easy? Oh my gosh. Because this isn't the only thing in DevOps. But still, why wouldn't you be using branch strategies like this? It's so good for organizing, and it's fun. So anyway, back to main we go. Let's pull latest. Now gate it with a build and a test run. See, now setting that up is a part of DevOps that is probably easy. I'm just not the most familiar with doing it in GitHub. I'm used to doing that in Azure. DevOps. Yeah, Dukasoft just did a shout out for Thindle's no docs extension if you're interested in what that is. Let's say that you are a streamer or you're presenting to a client or other people that should not be seeing your secrets, and you need to update a secret and you forget that you are currently streaming and showing off your camera, and you go into your secrets file and you're like, oh, that's okay. you can't see any of my secrets because of no docs. So then you move it off screen, make your changes to secrets, close the file, and you're good to go. And so right now, it looks like this file is not being parsed, but it's because I have commented out my connection string. So on Wednesday, I was having that weird issue with my data folder where my data folder was not readable suddenly, and that my data folder has all of my databases in it. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just not connect to my database. Let's just use localDB, which is in a completely different location. And I've been working on localDB since. But that's how smart it is. If it can't parse the file for some reason, let's say it has a mismatched closing curly brace or there's syntax that it just is not able to parse, it'll mask the whole file for you. And that way you don't have to worry about accidentally leaking stuff. So thank you, Thindle, for your major, I would call this a major contribution to the .NET community. Let's change this into a switch expression. We're not doing that because we're in main. Jeez. What a kid. Such a weird kid. We're going to change, we are going to end up changing that because I like using switch expressions anyway, and then the only thing that we have to do is arrows that. Why do you keep asking about Ohio? I'm missing chat. I'm missing chat. Okay, so Tyron was saying about his brewery, his microbrewery. This one was pretty easy to set up, but they provide a phone app, only sends data when app is running, or Raspberry Pi image, so you can plug in your own Raspberry Pi to it. That's awesome. I hooked it into my Home Assistant and then wrote a forwarding app to forward to the brewing website I track my brews on. Geez, so automating everything. I love automation so much. And you posted a screenshot of it in the Off Topic channel. I want to see dashboards and charts and numbers. So we are seeing temperature. We're seeing gravity. So what exactly, I don't brew. I don't anything. So what does gravity mean in this case? Ohio. It means Ohio. Water has a specific gravity of 1. Yeah, so I know the term specific gravity, but it's been such a long time since I've done any physics related stuffs. And then if you add stuff to water like sugar, it goes up to 1.056, for example. Then as the yeast eats the sugar, yeast eat the sugar because yeast is plural, it goes back down toward 1. And so you're essentially saying that you added enough extra stuff to it to get the specific gravity up to 1.056, and it's currently at this number. So you can do the math to take the difference of specific gravity to calculate the alcohol by volume, which is this number here. That's a pretty, oh, I have no idea. Is beer usually somewhere around like 6%? Or is that high? I used to only drink hard liquor. When I'm done, it'll be about 6.7. 4 to 6 is normal. Dang, and you're going to go to 6.7? Not extremely strong. I was used to drinking stuff that was 40 proof and above. And of course, my favorite being Bacardi 151. Really cool stuff though. I still don't know where this Ohio thing came up. So hopefully not too much of docs. You wouldn't happen to be in Ohio, right? No, I am not in Ohio. I am in Colorado. I believe I've said that multiple times. Not a docs. And I'm not telling you that you should have remembered. I was saying that I've said it a lot of times, so it wouldn't be a docs. Or it would have been a docs the very first time I said it if it was something that I was trying to protect. But I'm not trying to protect that. And then that's when Dukasoft shouted out Tindall's no docs. And then I got excited about that. Stream Elements, no. That was artificial on Steam. Yeah, I'm catching up on chat. I learned about microbrewing. .033 is a bit high. We're at 9.82. Thindle. Oh, something entirely different. Yes. Have I been to Ohio? I don't think I've been to Ohio. Is this a song? Not extremely strong, but strong. There's a website that I used to live by when I was in school called Translated Alcohol per Crown or Dollar or whatever. It did the whole cost per the alcohol content, I guess. So you'd find out what would give you the most drunk per dollar. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if that's what you were worried about. Like for me, it was definitely the taste. And if it didn't taste good, I didn't want it. Dukasoft is like, I'm gonna go grab a beer now. Please enjoy and cheers. I'm gonna stick to my water. One, Colorado is super duper dry, at least the area that I'm in. It's super duper dry. I'd probably die of dehydration if I had even a sip of alcohol, but two, I just decided it's not for me anymore. I am a fiend, and so it's like, I'll just not. Isn't Ohio one of those flyover states? Yep. Yep. Yes, it is. Most of the US likes to fly over it, but that counts in my book. Yeah, I guess. There have been times that we went up north. North? Yeah, something. On our way to other places. Like we would stop in Chicago almost every single time. Chicago O'Hare. Blah. Yuck. Kendall says, when I was like 19, it was more a question of not being able to stand up at the end of the evening, combined with having no money. I don't drink anymore either. Yeah, I made a lot of really bad mistakes and choices, regardless of how much money I had. Because again, I wanted what tasted good. Not against alcohol as such. Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm against myself drinking it. I drink a bit at Midsummer and New Year's, but not much more than that. Yeah, I have no problem with anyone else doing what they do at all. Not one bit. Nor am I bothered by you talking about it. In case you're wondering about that. So anyway, shall we do a vote? Shall we put it to a vote? What issue should we work on next? I think you might have finished, I think you might have missed a word in that. If you would like to contribute to the project GitHub, all you have to do is fork it, do the thing, and then PR it. PR me a YAML file that says, here's how you do the gated CI. I do have that sentiment. I'm against me drinking anymore, but I want apocalypse. But I have that for only 90% of the time. The other 10, all bets are off. Nice. Nice. I'll dance with you. My neck has still been feeling kind of off. So there was a day 2 weeks ago, I think it was now, when we did some pretty major ab work, and I used my neck a lot. And when you do crunches and stuff, you know, you're supposed to use your core. I was getting tired, and so I was kind of lifting with my head and pushing my neck forward, and I think I got whiplash or something from it because my neck has been super off. It feels like arthritis-y, or this kind of like, you know, the feeling when you have like raw skin and you touch it and it's kind of like nerve endings are exposed, and it just hurts. It kind of feels like that deep inside of my neck when I turn too weird. We vote magic strings removal. Magic strings removal. That's the only vote I've heard so far, and sounds like that's what we'll be doing if no one else has any other votes. I mean, I didn't actually create a vote or anything like that, but feel free to let me know in chat. But yeah, sensitive, definitely. So officially on the back of your neck is your sensitive side. I don't have a sensitive side. All of me is sensitive. There is no one side. I have FI. I have 6-year-old FI. Hopefully I've matured a little bit, that not everything gets my panties in a bunch. No guarantees though. And prog testing was responding to Tyron's microbrew data chart thing. Awesome. Awesomeness. Okay. The polls will be closing in 10, 9, 8, 7. Notice how there is no actual poll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. We have magic strings. So we're going to work on removing magic strings from our localization keys. So right now we have a whole bunch of localization in our app that is set up to display any strings on our pages using the iLocalize service. Dude, where is my content? I need a page that has content. Okay. And so right now, all of our localizations are in the form of, here's this iLocalizer, iString localizer. I was completely wrong, not iLocalizer service. iString localizer that is essentially a dictionary where we look up whatever we put in the square brackets, whatever we dereference, in a dictionary of key value pairs, but we get back the current app's language translation of that. And so all of these strings are now coded And we would like for them to be something like consts or something that we don't really control. Instead, I would like to create an entry inside of our resx file and have that generate that const that says, instead of this being hero subtitle, it'll be localized string dot, or localized, I don't know what to call it. We'll have to figure out what to call this thing, dot hero subtitle. And that will give us back the localized string version of it. So let's create a branch for that. New branch. This is issue number 18. We'll go ahead and set it as in progress. Remove magic strings for lock. You know what, I haven't changed in a while. Although I really, really, really like this guy. He's cool. I might just keep him for a while. Let me just see if there is any other AI generated image that's worth replacing him with. I like these guys. I don't know why, but I really, really like these expressions. We'll go with this one for now. Kind of looks like he has 2 coffee cups and he's still not quite awake. This is just my resting face. Okay, anyway, so how are we going to do this? Does anyone have any recommendations for having some kind of process where if I create an entry inside of my resx file, I can automatically, I'm kind of leading, I can automatically get a const that will give me my translated reflection is number 1. So what would that look like? If we use reflection, then that means at runtime, I will have yeah, type name of kind of thing. So essentially, you're recommending that I do name of, and then I have the name of whatever the thing is that I want to look up in my localization. And that is a thought. Unfortunately, that won't work because we still need to generate this thing here somehow. Yeah, and then you can have some kind of test that says, check for all of these things that we're using and make sure that they exist in the dictionary. So that's a good test. I like that test. And we can use reflection to do that test where it's like for every property of this thing that we're getting these name ofs from, then make sure that there is a corresponding name in the resx file. So when I say name in the resx file, the thing that I am referring to it's soup, Blazor UI, resources. Where's my resources folder? I have a separate localizations library. I keep forgetting that I put localizations in its own class library. Do the test. So here's what I'm wanting to do. Here's the behavior that I would love to see. I add a name in my resx file called new to local new what's the word? New invariant key. And then here is my invariant value. So this is the one that will be the same default value for everything to fall back to if I don't have a translation for it. As soon as I create this, I would love to have access to something like shared localizer service dot new invariant key. Which will return the string new invariant key. And that way I can look it up using shared localizer here. One step further would be if I do .new invariant key, instead I get back the localized value based off of the current value. And so I have some ideas for that too. So with that in mind, I don't want to go about creating a new class myself, although this is an option, and I think this is where Deflux is heading, to have all my, what do we call this? Localization entries, maybe? And so if we had a class maybe called localization entries, then every time that we add a new record to, get rid of that. Whoops, that's not how you do that here. That's Excel. I just sorted descendingly. So I could, every single time that we add a new entry in here, make a public const string pasta. No, when did you stop doing that? So normally it creates a multi-caret immediately when you do a box select like that, but that was weird. Anyway, and then we would set it equal to name of, I don't know if you can do this with consts. You can. So if we ever do change the variable name, then it will also update the string that it's going to look up in the resources dictionary. But what that means is we are responsible for making sure that every single time we create a new localization key and value pair, name and value pair, aka entry, we need to add it to this list as well. I want this thing to be auto-generated. This is a Dora video now. Can anybody think of a way to automatically generate code based off of other code? It's playing the Dora music right now while we're waiting for a response. What are we generating? So the thing that I would like to do, what's in the bag? A map! He's the map. What I would like is every time I add a new entry in my resources dictionary, that it generates, it makes for me somehow a const for that entry, so that instead of using a magic string when I'm asking for shared localizer stuff, instead I get back from here, it would be something like shared localizers. Actually, what did I call that class? Localization entries dot hero title, for example. And the point is, I don't want to manually do it. I don't want to manually say, here is my new entry with my invariant value, and then have to go to localization entries and say, because I like to alphabetize, let's find out where it belongs. Public const string new entry, new entry. Instead, I would like for every single time I add something to this list, I get something added to this class. Any thoughts on how to do that? I keep pushing Control minus. That's Excel. It's in the name, man. It's in the name. I want to generate code from other code. We can stop the app from running. Roller coaster one looks too intense for me. Oh, Thindle said it. Oh my gosh. Thindle said it. I didn't even see. I'm sorry, Thindle. Thindle gets the cookie. Correct. Source generators. So I've only ever written one source generator since the beginning of time. And so that means that I'm going to need to look this up a lot. However, what I understand is in order to make a source generator, you could do it in the same project if you were okay with the source generator code shipping with your product. And Bill gets the cookie. So if you are interested in this, of course, and not able to pay attention right now, the video will be posted on YouTube after we're done. But I'm going to try my hand at creating a source generator that when you build, a new solution folder, correct, I would be using a new solution folder. When you build, then the it'll check for, is this thing that I'm looking at, is this specific source node, source, whatever it's called, and we'll see what it's called, the shared localizer service.resx file. If it is, then generate this class with using the names as the property name for a const, sorry, as the name of a const, a public const, and the name of this name as the value. So we're going to try our hand at that. Good luck us. I've only done it with using an attribute to put an attribute on a class and then an attribute on properties that I wanted to turn it into a second class, or it's a partial class that did magic behind the scenes. It essentially writes out an event log using the properties for that class. So whatever data you want to write into telemetry, I have a source generator that says this is a telemetry item. These are the fields that I care about outputting to telemetry. And then it will generate the to log item code for that specific class. I could have done it using an extension, but I don't know what the names of the fields are going to be for telemetry, and I didn't want to use reflection. So same case here. I don't really want to use reflection, even though I kind of am with this name of. It'll be fine though, right? It'll be fine. Ninja Clubby! So I'm back. Did I just see that you're using strings.resx for localization? I am. Is there something else that you would recommend instead? Yeah, I'm actually calling it shared localizer service. I don't know why I named it shared localizer service, but I did. But it's pretty much strings.resx. What we're going to work on now is when I create a new entry in here, it's going to give me a const in a file that I can use in my code. Makes sense. Yeah, I don't really know what all of the options are because all of the applications that I've worked on in the past, I've never had to localize the content. The most I've had to do is a little bit of accessibility concerns, but not much. And yeah. That's it. That's it. So the app that I'm working on for my job currently uses a lot of localization and internationalization. So that's why I'm getting more comfortable with using it. And since iStrings Localizer was free with my project, then why not use it? Just create a whole bunch of resx files and then it'll do everything else for you. Okay, so let's do the thing. Let's do the thing. I am curious though, do we get that for free if we tell this thing that we want it to compile? I still want to create the source generator myself, but if we told this thing that we wanted it to compile, and it gives us our, yeah, I don't think so. Isn't there something that we can set in the properties for this that would make it give us a .resx.cs? I can never remember. Yes. Oh. Oh. Ugh, radish. I don't like radish. Anyway, I'll respond to that later. My wife's mom is sending me pictures of food. Oh, food. I love food so much. We're still on .NET Framework. Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, I thought that there was something that you could do to a .resx file so that you can use it in code. Use it as a class. Just remember changing one of those properties and then being able to expand it and get to the generated code behind. No clue. Doesn't matter. Yeah, let me look at it real quick. It was a XAML file. I'm pretty sure it was a XAML file that I'm thinking of. Yep, I'm thinking of XAML. Never mind. Flippin' WPF. So yeah, Ninja Gloppy is saying, so if we added new localized string, we reference it via strings.newLocalizedString as a property. Like, are we getting that for free already? Was I just doing this in a weird way? Because I didn't know that that's a thing you got for free. Let's see. No. Yeah, so you probably have a tool that does it for you then. And here I want to create a source generator that does it on the fly. so you don't have to wait for a full build. It'll happen anytime it tries to compile. It's for, yeah, like you said, you're in .NET Framework, but we're using .NET Core, and that's how it's happening in that project. We have a tool that essentially runs when you build that regenerates a, oh man, it's a really involved process. Yeah, you do have to wait for a full. So we're going to try our hand at seeing if we can get this thing to be ad hoc as we add a new record and save the file, maybe, or maybe as we add it. So let's create the new solution folder like Findle was recommending and knowing that we're going to do for source generators. And I may as well use spaces in here because these don't show up anywhere. Add a new project. And I think it needs to be, and I have no idea if this is correct or not, but when I made my first source generator, it said the project type or the target framework needs to be .NET Standard 2.0. And I don't know how true that is. This is going to be our localization const generator. Why not? And you can have more than one generator in a project. I just really want this one to be specific to our localizations. Gosh. Do I? Yeah, because what if I have a generator that I only want to happen on one of my other projects and I don't want the localizations generator on that project? Yes. Okay. Convinced. You've convinced me. So I'm going to look this up really quick. Do source generator projects have to be .NET Standard 2.0? Question, man. Currently, only .NET Standard 2.0 assemblies can be used as source generators as of June 11, 2022. I mean, can source generator projects be .NET Standard 2.1? As of August 2020, .NET Standard 2.1 can be used under the following conditions. The generator will work during builds with .NET tooling, but will not work for builds with .NET Framework tooling. The generator will not work for IDE scenarios, which is what we care about the most, which includes builds within Visual Studio and all IntelliSense functionality. So, I mean, if that's still the case, then yes, we need to be .NET Standard 2.0. And that's enough for me. It's not going to break anything. I was just thinking maybe there are some features in .NET Standard 2.1 that we would want to use, but doubt it. Doubt it, doubt it, doubt it. So let's see if I can use my previous example to get started on this source generator. One thing that we need to do is modify the CS proj. I remember that. And actually, you know what? We have the page up. So why don't we just start with this instead of me trying to adapt something that I've already written. So just keep in mind that there are certain scenarios that they recommend using source generators for. There are analyzers that will cover other specific scenarios that you should not be using source generators for, even though source generator is an analyzer. It's just they are for different tasks. Okay, so step one is to create a new .NET Standard 2.0 framework. target framework is what I'm trying to say. And then we add 2 libraries. I'm going to go ahead and add these libraries from NuGet so we get the latest version. Microsoft Code Analysis Analyzers and Microsoft Code Analysis C#. C#. Tools. NuGet Package Manager. Localizers for our localization code generator. And the other one that I already forgot, code analysis C#. Cool. So those are now added. The other thing is going to be, in order to enable debugging, and I know we're going to want to debug this eventually, in order to enable debugging of a source generator, there are specific entries, specific elements that we add to the CS proj. I can't remember what they are though. Did I happen to keep that? There's this. Yeah, I'm not going to remember which one of these was the one that told me about it. Okay, not that one. We'll probably end up using that one eventually, but not that one for now. Right, and I do want the latest C# lang and nullable enable. I'm going to go ahead and steal those. Man, our C# stuff is so good. Yeah, where is the thing close? It's not that one. So what we essentially do is we create a new flag so that if we specify that flag at compile time, then we can attach the debug, or we hide the attached debugger behind that flag. And that's the approach that I really liked using before, and it worked really well. I say it like I've done it a lot. Again, I've only done this one other time. Not this one, not you. Gosh. Okay, the name of the flag was called debug generators. So source generator, debug generator. It's got to be this one. This looks familiar. Here it is. Okay, so is Roslyn component is true? That's a very important one. Is Roslyn component true? Because we want to set this, the project startup for it. Not that way. The properties. And then we head on over to debug. Open debug launch profiles. So this what took me a while to understand how to do this, because it looks different than in this tutorial here. By the way, this tutorial is for Visual Studio 2019, but still works. So you add this, then you set the project type startup. there's some instructions that say set the project startup type to Roslyn, and I didn't know how to do it. I'm like, there's no whatever they're telling me to change in here. You actually delete the default profile, and then you change it to Roslyn component, and then you tell it which. Maybe I'm in the wrong one. We'll find out. We'll go through this stuff here. But yeah, that's definitely something that I remember having to change somewhere. Here it is, actually. It is on the project that you're going to use to debug your generator. That's what it is. So yeah, the one that we're going to use to debug our generator is going to be our let's just use the API. So we're going to add a new debug profile. This one, open launch profiles. So instead of deleting them, we're going to add a Roslyn generator. Oh my goodness. I don't remember how to do that. We'll get to it in a second. First of all, Mr. Knock is here. What is all this XML stuff? So this here is the CS proj. I skipped right over it. Oh my goodness. Where did it go? This is the CS proj for our source generator project. And apparently, oh, I need to reference the project first. Okay. Okay, Tyndall. So we've done the first steps of this, which is to create the project targeting .NET 2. I don't really know what Maven is. I know that it's a Java thing, and it's a way when you build Java for it to do certain things. So maybe? Yeah, this is telling the compiler about this project. So yeah, like what NuGet packages are being referenced, what variables are being set for the entire build process, pre-build events, post-build events, target framework, what type of project it is specifically. It could be a .razor, etc. Yeah, I have very little experience with Maven, but the only reason that I know it is because the L2J server, when you download it and you run it locally, uses Maven to build the Java library. And it's a Maven install specifically that creates all of the files needed for it. Let me respond to this email real quick. It also be that you haven't run it yet. Are you at least able to get to % local app data? Okay. Customer, it's not working. It's actually our tester, our QA. It was also our tester. Okay. So we implemented a save your preferences while you're using the app. And for him to test some things, it requires him to reset those saved preferences, which is just deleting the file from local app data. Okay. All right, so I'm skipping around too much. We're going to go step by step this time. So I created this project, a class library targeted .NET Standard 2.0. I'm using latest C#Lang version. I added this line and I added nullable enable because I like having nullable enable. I love having nullable enable. I've had so few null reference exceptions, which used to be the #1 runtime exception that I got in all of my projects. That was hard to debug, hard to track down. And now it's like, I've gotten it once. And it was because I disposed of an object asynchronously, set it to null, and when it finished the dispose, the object was already set to null. Anyway, okay. In the project that we're going to use the source generator, which is our shared localizations project, we're going to add a reference to localization const generator. Easiest way for me to do it is just to drag the project that I want to add a reference to over the project that I want to add the reference from. And so now we have this entry in here that is referencing that project. However, because this is just a generator project and we don't want this to output the DLLs with my project, what is null? Baby, don't hurt me. Yes, that's what nullability helps us with. We want to output the item as an analyzer and don't reference the assembly. That way the DLLs don't get shipped with it. Output type analyzer reference assemblies reference output item type and reference output assembly. Hard doing this on one screen. I already forgot. Assembly equals false with a capital F. I remember that being lowercase f. Never mind. I don't remember that being a thing. My memory is shit. Taki mushrooms. Okay, so now we are referencing the generator project. It just starts working right away. So if I save a file and I already had something that is generating source code, as soon as I build, then my output will start getting generated. And we'll see it in this folder here, which right now there's a little mark on it that says this is currently not generating any files. I know that it actually says that text somewhere, but right now it just says ignored. So let's write some generator file. What's a good naming convention for writing generator source? This is the consuming project. Wait. Oh, right. I think this library is assuming that you have a source generator already and you want to start debugging it. So that's what this one is for specifically. We need to continue following this tutorial for generating the actual generator. Lee. Not always. user profile. Does anyone remember the I'm doing work on time that I shouldn't be doing work. Does anyone remember? Never mind, I found it. It's percent profile. Hat data. Okay, roaming. Percent user profile. App data roaming. Tease that it goes to user profile, app data, local. So anyway, the question is, which build the saving user preferences started in? I also just remembered, got a reminder on my other computer, meeting at 1. So I do have a meeting at 1 o'clock, by the way. I'm not ending the stream early or anything like that, but completely forgot that there was a new one scheduled for 1 o'clock. But this is the meeting that I really am looking forward to. These are the metaverse. We're trying to create a minimum viable product that will, I guess it's both a POC and an MVP, that will show the capabilities that we can do using metaverse technologies. And metaverse technologies is more than just AR, VR kinds of things, but just all of it. Like Web3, for example, which I know so little about. I just know the name, and that's it. That's all I know. Anyway, we'll get to that. So I would like to do the next part. So this is the basic structure of a generator. All it takes is this attribute generator and this implementation describer declaration thing that says this thing will implement iSource generator and these two methods. And that's all it takes to create a source generator. It's so easy, even I could do it. I'll probably fail at it. So we're going to call this thing our localization const class generator, so that it's not the same as the project. I've had so many issues with namespaces and project names being the same as class names, and it just doesn't make sense to make the class name the same as the project name for me, I guess. Anyway, so like I said, we have two things to add. Source generator attribute. Nope, it's just called generator. I'm good at this. And then we implement iSource generator, get our two classes, and notice that they are both void, so they don't need bodies. There are times when you would want to use initialize and times when you don't. I'm not 100% sure on the reasons why you would use initialize versus not use initialize when you're doing something like accumulating your list of classes or files that you want to use this generator on. So execute will be called for every single node that gets visited, if I recall. No, you would have to create your own listener or something like that. Anyway, execute gets called. Yeah, I kind of remember something along the lines of execute gets called for every node that you visit. So you can check for, is this node something that I'm looking for? Yeah, exactly. So you could initially filter in your initialize, or you could wait for each execute to come in and say, these are the things that I am going to get. How do you highlight words in Pascal font? For example, you could highlight. So I use Alt Shift, or sorry, Alt Shift Control. So you can do Shift with arrow keys to select. You could do Shift Control to select the whole word, and then Shift Alt Control selects to the Pascal or camel and underscores and stuff. So Control Shift Alt arrow key. And I use Alt and Shift with my left hand and Control with my right hand with the arrow keys. I don't know. It's in Visual Studio, yes. There's probably a similar one in Visual Studio Code. There often is. No, it doesn't work in Twitch chat. Or Twitch chat. Yeah, I use that a lot. But yeah, so Thindle has a point. It's probably smarter to filter on initialize, so filter once as opposed to every single time you go through here. Check, 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 check. So let's do it. Oh, since we have our source generator created now, let's go ahead and do the setup needed in order for this to do the debugging. And that is this thing here. This is where I was talking about if we have this compiler instruction that says if, I can't think of what the actual term for this is, compiler command, I think. Anyway, if this is defined, then run this logic inside of here. Otherwise, don't run it. And so we're going to do that. That's one of the things that we're going to do in initialize, so that if we're trying to debug this source generator, then it'll be easy to. And the way that I still won't be able to do that, will I? We'd have to do it by command line only. And that's kind of annoying, because what I'd really like to do is add that as a build profile for my main application. And when we last looked at it, it didn't let me do it, but that's probably because I wasn't referencing the compiler. Yeah, it's still not there. So I guess what I could do is create a new profile that is, what are you? Application project. Call it my source generator debug profile. And we can specify the command line argument it's way down here. Nope. Oh my gosh. Here it is. -C debugger no incremental. I think this would work, right? I guess we can find out real quick. We'll just put a breakpoint here. We'll set find man server as our startup project, and I'm going to debug it. And if we hit this breakpoint, then debug generator was successfully defined. Oh, I forgot to set my profile. My build profile, source generator debug, F5. It says it's not going to hit it. It's not going to hit it. It's not going to hit it. I'm not going to hit it. So that's not being defined. Anyway, we still have a way to debug it when we need to, and we will need to. So that's fine. I'm okay. I'm okay with it. And we won't be able to do anything with this anyway. When we won't have any breakpoints up here because we're not going to hit the breakpoints until a debugger is attached, and this is what attaches the debugger. Oh, if not debugger is yeah, still. Anyway, doesn't matter. Hecky. We want to write the code for generating the code. I love saying that. One approach that we could take is to filter out the file that we want specifically by using this context here. It has a way for us to hook into as the source is starting to get created. And we're going to use that using an internal class here that we won't need to access anywhere else. And that class is going to be a... Does anyone remember? Because I sure don't. A syntax receiver. GitHub Copilot remembers. Right, I forgot that we could just, cheese our way. We could just say, check if the current node is the strings localizer service string. Did I close it? Why would I have closed it? We'll see if GitHub Copilot will just do it for me because lazy. Check if the current node is the strings localizer service.resx file. I was going to look up in my sample, but I forgot that my sample, I decided to... No. Our telemetry stuff got put on hold is what happened. So I was no longer in the telemetry branch. Okay, so what I'm wondering is, does the resx file identify as a class? And so to figure that out, we're going to need to debug this. And to debug, we can just go cd. Oh, yeah, isn't this where I still create the profile? Maybe it identifies as the vegetable, who knows? Yeah, launch Roslyn component. Yeah, exactly. So we're still using a magic string, and there are certain things that they have mentioned you cannot get away from. So since I'm not referencing that project from the source generators project, then I have no way of using something like name of shared localizer service. What I did end up doing in my telemetry generator thing was I created a bunch of consts. But that's not going to help us with what happens if we rename strings localizer service. Oh, that's what it was. I created a rule. No, I created an attribute on the classes that I wanted the generator to work on. And that way the attribute is the thing that was the identifier. But again, the attribute is still defined in the project that I'm using the source generator on, since the source generator project is being referenced by that project in a way that says, I don't really have access to any of the classes in that project. I would need to get rid of reference output assemblies at that point in time if I wanted there to be C# classes. The other thing that we could do, I guess the other thing that I could do for that project in specific is create a new class library that are all of the attributes that the source generator uses, reference that project in both the generator project itself and the project that I am using the generator in. And then I could start doing name of type stuff. Not bad. But maybe there is a smarter way to do this for resx files. Maybe we just look for anything that has a .resx extension and see if it is the base resx class or base resx file, which means it doesn't have any of the locale information. Yeah, a good comment would be enough for this case. But I still think, you're making me think of what is a way that we could foolproof this. How about that? Okay, so do we have an attribute list? Is that attribute list, does it have more than 0 attributes on it? And is that thing a system DOM, code DOM compiler generated code attribute? I don't think that that's a way to identify if the file is a .resx file. I am. It's Copilot. Copilot's smart. Do you have any other suggestions for me, Copilot? Alt, period? No. Wait, yes. Aha. But that's still attributes. Hi, Abatus. So what I'm trying to do right now is come up with a rule on visit node that will let us know the file that we're looking at and trying to compile is the resources file that has all of my localized strings. And the internet will probably have a better answer for me. .NET source generator identify .resx file in SyntaxReceiver. Not create a resource file. Identify a resource file is what I'm looking for. Yeah, this one generates resource files. want that. I want to identify. Identify. Yeah, and that's the other thing that I would want to do as well. Now that I'm looking at this, the other thing that we're going to be able to do with this process is identify that root resources file and generate all of the localized resource files, giving them a default of our invariant translation. Anyway, we're gonna take a look at this here. cd generator .NET watch C whatever this flag is. No incremental. I don't remember if it's 1 dash or 2 dashes. I already forgot. Dash. Low dash. Okay, so if we do this, then as it's building, .NET build is what I meant. .NET build. And am I even doing this on the right project? The name debugger. Oh, right. And the name of the namespace that debugger is in is system.diagnostics. So lazy. Okay, so if we are using the debug generator flag, compiler flag, then we want to include system.diagnostics. Cool. So because there is no debugger attached, it will go into this if statement, hit this line, and launch the debugger, which will tell us to pick. It's supposed to give us this screen. I don't know why that didn't work. Oh, because the other thing that I forgot to do though was to hook up this syntax receiver as the thing that happens when the source generator starts. And to do that, we use this code here. That works. So we're going to register this thing down here as the thing that's listening for whenever you visit a syntax tree node thing, then check to see if it's a thing we care about. If it is, add it to this list of things that we are going to look for in this execute method here. So we're filtering out only the things that we care about. Which it's not going to do this because a project containing analyzers or sources should specify the property Oh yeah, there was this thing, wasn't there? Wait. Oh, that's the wrong one. You. Okay. How about now? And still not prompting me to pick a debugger. And I remembered needing to do this whole setting up the thing that I said, where you go into the debug properties, open launch profiles, create one that is a Roslyn component, and you set, why did it let me do it this time? And then you name it something specific that I can't remember. What are we naming it? Debugging source generators. Why not? You're gonna save? Okay, now we should be able to do this thing. Now we should be I did delete the other one, right? Yes. It's the only profile that it has that it can debug, so... F5? Question man. Nope. Is there anything that we needed to do? Oh, you can actually set it as start a project when you do that? Nuh-uh. You can. That didn't work in the one over there. Huh? Oh, duh. Okay, so the reason that this one worked on this computer and it didn't work on this one is because the startup project that this thing is referencing on this one is a class library, and you can't have a class library as your startup project. It needs to be a console app at minimum. But anyway, this one is the full findandman.server app, which will kick in. And so now we are registering this syntax receiver down here, internal class for us, which says every time we hit a syntax node, run this rule against it. Is it a class declaration? If it's a class declaration, does it have attributes? If it has attributes, is the first attribute, does it contain more than 0 attributes? And if so, is the name resx resource? I don't think this is a way that we identify whether the current node that we're looking at is the resx file. So what I'm doing is I'm going to pretty much step through these until I find the actual resx file and find out what we can use as the pattern to identify this thing is the resx file you are looking for. So we'll keep our eye on watch. So this is a using directive. Oh, this is going to take a while. Qualified name syntax. I don't exactly know what this one is, but if we look at the node itself, by doing something like syntax node. What is this called? Syntax node dot get text, I believe. .toString. Oh, is it just one of the using name? One of the usings? May as well put syntax node in here so we can keep watching it. What's your woe, Deflux? The fact that it's almost time to go? I don't know what qualified name is. Maybe we can filter out something from syntax node to say we must be in project shared localization. And it's something like syntax node dot ancestor dot where, nope, of, yeah, I can't remember. But I essentially wanted to make this thing go all the way up to the namespace node if it has a namespace node. And if that namespace node is fineandman.shared localization at minimum, so it starts with fineandman.shared localization, then we will know that the thing that we are looking at is within that project, and there are only like 4 or 5 things in there. So we're gonna have to keep this on hold until we get to here it is, shared localization. We're going to keep this on hold until our next stream when we're going to finish this source generator. And again, this source generator is going to be used for any time that we add an entry to shared localizer service. We will make sure that we have a shared localizer service dot every locale that we want to localize to with the default entry that we have in here for the ones that have not already been localized, and a localization entry const for the name field, so that in our UI we aren't using magic strings to point to one of these shared localizer strings name entries. But Deflex is saying, as always, I have streamers I follow and I love to share the love. May I recommend rating a person? Please do. I will need to hop into their channel so that I can be ready for it. Setchelix and Grimy Badger are live building stuff out in C# Unity. So I've never heard of Grimy Badger. And we know Setchelix. Setchelix is a fantastic streamer. I love his energy. And he has some similar personality traits as me, but completely different standpoint on a bunch of stuff. But he's so laid back. He's cool. Down in the trenches, always dub and all the hustle. Can we see what any previews of the content? Oh, I can't even see the content itself. The game. Cool. It looks like he's pretty early on in the development, and it does look fun. And how are you doing right now, Setchelix? love this commercial. You guys got a commercial for free. Nom, nom, nom. Okay. Well, I am familiar with Settlix, and I do know that he provides quality content. He is a little bit crude. He doesn't care about using language or not. I mean, I don't either. I just typically don't. But yeah. So anyway, we are going to head on over to our closing screen. I will say goodbye to you for now. We will set up a raid over to Settlix. That's the ending screen. Yes, I just didn't have my camera. Awesome. So we're going to go head over to him. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day today. On Wednesday, we will pick up on the rest of this code generator. One sec, man. One sec, man. We'll look at that on Wednesday. I am going to head back to work, especially since I have a meeting. There he is. At 1 o'clock. Thanks for the sec, man. But yes, we will definitely look at that and see if we have a CI pipeline with a lockdown main that we will. Yeah, that's fine. It's going to be there on Wednesday. But yeah, other than that, feel free to hop onto our Discord, ask questions, see all the cool people that are there. They're all super nice, except for Thindle. He's not nice. He's pushy. I'm kidding. Definitely check out Thindle's stream. He's working on awesome stuff. I love migration projects. He's going .NET Framework, .NET Core, etc., on and on and on. Yeah, and then all of our other fantastic streamers that showed up today. Scott is here. I saw Xcoding earlier. But yeah, check us out again on Wednesday. That's it for now. The video will be posted on YouTube sometime after 24 hours. Ciao for now. Bye. Camera. Microphone.